Hello and welcome guys. So in this lecture, let's start with the texturing of our guitar. So I'll quickly just select this layer and delete it from over here. And also one more thing, if you do not see any of the tabs that are appearing on my screen, you can go over to viewport. Go over to window and you can enable them from over here. All these tabs, assets, layers, properties, everything. So yeah, you can arrange them accordingly. Alright, so let's start. The texturing process would be pretty straightforward. I will be using smart materials to texture this guitar. So just go to smart materials section and search for black latex. So this one, latex black. Just drag and drop it onto your guitar and this will be the basic body of our guitar. We will like edit it out a little bit. We'll customize it on our own. So you can see this is folder is appearing over here. So just open it up. And for the base color, what I basically want to do is I just want to change it to something like a little bit lighter. So just set both of these to 0 and value to 0.1. Make it a little bit lighter. And also I will increase the roughness because right now it is too shiny. So maybe something to 0.35. Yeah, that's better. If you want, you can like turn on and off all these layers and see what are like adding all these things. So yeah, this layer is adding this thing. So what we can do is, if you want, we can select this and increase the roughness of this a little bit to maybe something like 0.25, just to make it a little less apparent. And yeah, this way it looks much better. So now, obviously we don't want this material over all our pieces. So we can use masking to just make it appear over the body only. So you can click over here. This is like a new feature. This is the geometry mask. So click over here, right click and exclude all. And now it is disappeared from everywhere. You can now just click on the objects that you want to add this material to. So I think just this single one only, the main body of our guitar. And now let's just select this material and press Ctrl C, then V to duplicate it. You can again right click and include all, and it is covering this entirely again, but don't worry, we'll just fix that. So I will select the base and this time change the color to something yellowish for our secondary color, kind of. So for this, the hex code I have decided is CBC 699. So you can just go with this color only. Let's decrease the roughness to 0.3 maybe. And yeah, now basically I will just right click again and exclude all, and this time select this piece over here, these two strips, and let's see, we can add it over these things and these two pieces. Let's add this also, and yeah, perfect. You can see how well this geometry mask works with like adding all these things to different like objects. Also, you can go over here in the texture set settings and increase the size to something like 4K, and you won't see all those issues that were appearing over here. And yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's fine. So now let's again select this latex black and duplicate it. Right click, exclude all, sorry, include all. And I will just select the base. And this time I just want to keep it back to default. So just select it and delete this one and drag and drop it once again from over here. And now right click, exclude all, and just select this piece because these things tend to be shiny. So yeah, this way it looks nice. If you want, you can maybe tone down the base color a little bit. Can make it a little bit lighter. But yeah, except that, I think it looks fine. Alright, so another thing, let's duplicate it once again. Right click and let's include all first. And for now, the base color, I will set something to brownish. So 2C1F18. And yeah, this will basically be our color for these things over here, this piece. So right click, exclude all, and select this and select this. I think for this one also, we will select this black material only, obviously. And yeah, I think our guitar is looking pretty fine. Lastly, for these cables and all these pieces, I will simply use a steel material. So in the smart material section, search for steel and you will find the steel bright layered. So just drag and drop it onto here and we can edit it out a little bit. So let's see. At first I want to remove these scratches. And next, as you can see, we have this layering kind of thing going on over here with the edges. So instead of removing it completely, just select the layer and set the height back to 0. And yeah, that way it looks much better, I think. And again, click over here, exclude all, and select this, and these and these. So, okay, one thing that I want to do is I want to make this piece iron material and these bottom cylinders of this yellow colored material only, just to give it a little bit more detail. But now the problem is we cannot really do that because all of this is like a single object only. So I will show you two different ways that we can separate them out. One of them is we can like totally give up on using a geometry mask altogether. So right click and include all. So that way we are not really using geometry mask now. And we will just basically use a normal black mask. So go over here, add a black mask. Select this tool over here and select the mesh fill mode. Now make sure the color is set to white completely. And now when you select all of these objects, you can see you can fill them one by one, just like the geometry mask only. But this time there is like a slight difference. It will only fill the meshes and not all the objects that are together. So what I mean by that is when you click over here now, you will see only this middle cylinder is being filled. And that is what we want. Like this. You can see these parts were excluded out, which we wanted. And now we can add the yellow material to these parts. But again, for this one also, as we were using the geometry mask again, we need to use the black mask over here also. So what we can do is instead of like editing this out, we can duplicate this once again, place it at the top, right click, hit include all, add a black mask and just select all of them like this one by one. So yeah, perfect. You can see we easily made them separate materials even though they were like a single object only. If this method is like too confusing for you, you can just quickly undo everything and come back to where we were earlier. I will show you, I think, a much simpler way where we just go back to Blender and edit the object out completely. Alright, so I've undone everything and we are back to having this steel bright layered material over everything. So what you can do is quickly open up Blender. And instead of like making all these changes, you can go back in Blender and make these two a separate object. That way it would be much easier for us. So let's just select all 6 of them, press slash, and first let's press Ctrl J to join them all together. Now press tab and hover over all these cylinders like this one by one and select them. Then you can just press P and separate the selection out like this. And now you can see both of them are like completely different objects. Come back out here by pressing slash. Now you can press A. Also, I will just make these two a little bit longer. So select them both. Make sure to select individual origin and press S then Y. Yeah. Hit save, press A to select everything, go over to file, export and export it once again. Enable selected objects and mesh. In the exports folder, again export it as guitar. And now in Substance Painter, what you want to do is obviously we won't be creating a new project once again because we have all this progress over here. So first let's hit save and I will show you how we can import a updated model into our project. Go over to edit, project configuration, select the file over here again and make sure everything over here is remaining the same and just hit OK. Just wait for it to finish. Once it will compute everything. And now you can see everything remains the same pretty much, but our model has been updated. If you click over here now, right click and just hit exclude all. And you can see these two are now completely separate objects. So you can easily select them out like this and you don't have to use all those masks and everything, like black mask and everything. We can directly use a geometry mask only. Okay, sorry. Yeah, select these piece, and yeah, I think we want the iron material over these things only. Now select the yellow latex black and select these, and you can see now how easy it was. So you can directly make the change over in Blender also. That will also work. This piece we forgot about. Select this one and make it again yellow. All right, let's hit save, and we are pretty much done with the texturing of our guitar. It was really quick, but as I had like a time constraint, that's why I didn't go much in detail. What I will do now is I will quickly rename them to their respective materials so that it is a little less confusing. Steel, and this last one, just rename it to black shiny. All right, guys, so let's hit save. And what we want to do now is let's export all these textures into Blender and see how they work, how they look in Blender. So to do that, just hit Control, Shift, and E in your Substance Painter, and you will be welcomed with this window. So this is the like export window. It is like really easy. There is not much things to do. We just need to edit the settings over here. So the first thing to do is click over the output directory, and this is basically where you want to save all your textures. So let's just create a completely new folder over here in the tutorial directory, and I will name it as textures. Open it up and make sure to hit select folder. Then only this path will be selected over here. You can make sure the path is selected because sometimes the texture gets like exported to completely different area. Next is the output template. Here you can decide which software you want to export your textures for. Like as you can see, we have Unreal Engine, V-Ray, Unity, everything. We also have like a Blender preset already made for us. So yeah, Blender Principal BSDF. Just select this one. We can select the file type as PNG maybe. Let's set this to 16 bits and size can be 4K. And yeah, these are all the settings that you need to do. You do not need to touch anything else. We can like if we have like multiple different texture sets, as we have only a single material only, so we have only one texture set. But if we have multiple different texture sets, then we can like enable and disable them from over here or change their particular settings for particular texture sets. But right now, as we just have one, we can only do it in the global settings only. All right. So now everything is done. Just hit export and wait for the export to finish. All right, now the export is done. So if you open up the folder over here, the textures folder, you can see all the textures are appearing over here: base, color, displacement, metallic. And now we can easily go back to Blender and plug them into our like material, and the material will appear over here. So go over to the shading tab, and I will quickly show you how we can add the material or add the textures to our material. So just select the principal BSDF and then hit Control, Shift, and T. So this is like a shortcut, but if this shortcut does not work for you, you can go into Edit, Preferences, and in the Add-ons section, search for Node Wrangler. So make sure to enable Node Wrangler, then only this shortcut would work. So again, when Node Wrangler is enabled, select the principal BSDF, hit Control, Shift, and T, and come back to your textures folder, hold Shift, select everything, and then hit Principal Texture Setup. Wait for it to complete, and as soon as it would be done, you will see all the textures appear up over here. Wait for them to load, and yeah, you can see they are looking same as they were looking in Substance Painter, and our guitar is looking pretty good. I think our textures came out really nice. One thing that I want to mention is there are a couple of things that you can change up over here. Not a couple of things, just some things that you have to check. One thing that the base color should always be in the color space sRGB, and rest all of the maps would be non-color. So make sure they are in the non-color space. And another thing, the last map, this displacement map, you can set the scale of this to 0.1. I don't think we have any kind of displacement or height values in our model. But if you have any, make sure to just tone this back down to 0.1 or to a low value, because in Blender it gets like really weird when the scale is set as 1. And yeah, rest everything is pretty good. All right, so let's just hit save, and I think this much is pretty much it for this lecture. In the next video, we will add like a little bit of lighting, HDRIs to set up our guitar and take a few portfolio renders, and then we will finish up with this course. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.